All right, let's go. So day number 44 of running ads, and today we have a very relevant topic, and that is the fact that you need to invest in data. And by that, I don't mean just paid ads like I'm doing right now and that I'll be showing here in a second from the screen. Basically, as you might know from this series, I'm running paid ads in order to get in front of Shopify brand owners and see if they are a good fit, if I can help them. You might have heard the Slack notification right now. I'm not sure if this picks it up, but I want to talk about data also because today I actually had a call with someone that isn't coming from the ads, so someone outside of the ad space, and by that I mean that it wasn't the ad that got me that call. However, I do need to mention, and usually this is like, I guess, a pro tip, whenever you can actually look more professional and so on, you should do it, right? That's why I actually brought this fancy mic to the meeting, because like it or not, it could also be seen as a hack, I guess, to some extent, but status and where you are and so on does matter, right? Like, as you can see, my background and everything is not amazing or anything, so I try not to focus too much on that, right? Because otherwise we'd all just try to live in the fanciest place, have the most expensive car, stuff like that, right? Which is not really ideal, because then you attract the type of people who you wouldn't really want, you know? So word of warning, right? Because we do attract based on what we say, how we look, what we portray outside, right? So that's why right now, for example, you'll see with my paid ads, I'm running them, and I'll have to change the tabs here because I opened the wrong one. I'm running them and I have a very low expectation in the beginning, meaning that I'm actually investing in ads for data. And many businesses should actually think of it like that. Of course, in the beginning, you actually need to have some capital, right? So go work at McDonald's or wherever, right? Like, you do need some capital. Like, you can make nothing, you can make something out of nothing. You definitely need to pay with your time or with your money. But eventually you can pay with your time forever, right? Like, you could do that to some extent, but it's not ideal, meaning that you should be investing in other things. So for example, I was just looking today at my crypto portfolio, at my stocks portfolio, and that's even outside of business, right? But it's very important to be diversified and not rely just on one thing. Of course, the main thing that you should rely on is your skills, but there is a specific amount of time during the day when you can actually apply those skills, right? So that's why ideally, besides yourself actually working on some things on a daily basis or from Monday to Friday, however you want to work, you also need to put money where you don't need to actually be there, such as in the case of stocks, such as in the case of crypto, such as in the case of paid ads, such as in the case of cold email. For example, I just booked a call last night with someone that is in Korea. Like, if I had to type that manually, it wouldn't have ever happened, just because I wouldn't write a message at midnight. I think that's when the message was sent and when I also received a reply, right? So this is where we can see AI automation actually mattering, right? And one thing that I want to point out is that when you invest in, let's say, ads, it's just like in investing in anything else, even in education, because you do get data, you do get feedback, and then you can use that feedback to make whatever you're doing more effective, or you're just acquiring the skill, which is on its own an important thing. Meaning that, for example, if I get more traction, if I get more results from running paid ads, of course, it will be much easier to help other businesses do the same thing. And let me check the Instagram DMs real quick, just so I can show you actually that there are a couple of additional messages that I've received. I'll have to ignore my primary ones for now, but yeah, basically right now I have around four conversations that started only through IGDMs, and one of those people is actually verified, so they are paying for premium if I'm not mistaken, right? So you do need to spend money to eventually get in front of the right people at the right time, right? As it is in marketing, and you can't really control that. That's why you actually need data. And as I was mentioning earlier, I was on a call, and for that business, it was a matter of actually deciding on what to invest the resources, right? Because you have to pay the specialist, the expert, the agency, the grow partner, or however you want to call it. And then you also have... All right, we're back. The camera just died all of a sudden, so the SD card was full, which is crazy. But as I was mentioning, you do have to invest in data. And even with that business that I was talking with earlier, they had to invest a higher amount in the beginning to actually also start and go in the right direction, right? Because as I mentioned, you have to pay anywhere from, who knows, from 1K to 5K, 10K for actually someone helping you. And then you also have to invest in ads, right? But you have to think of the long-term benefits of that. Because if you don't work with an expert, it actually costs you more. Because, for example, if you can make 100K a year, but you're not making it just because you miss an information that would cost you 1K or 5K, right? Then you're basically making less money. So let's say you're making 50K a year, and you could be making 100K a year just if you invested 10K in yourself, right? So basically, what's the difference? 50K, right? So 50K is the amount that you're losing each day because you don't have that knowledge to make up to 100K, right, a year. So this is one way to think about it, right? Because it is in business more so about thinking, especially when you get into higher level decisions where you can leverage things, right? People, capital, code, and so on. But with all of that being said, let's look at the ad account here. Let me show you what happened recently. I've already shown you here that there were a couple of new messages, basically one new one, which I didn't even follow up. And that's because I just didn't have time, right? So lack of time. And sometimes it's a luxury, right? To have so many other things to do that you can't really reach out to someone right away. But yeah, definitely need to do that. You don't need to get your ego way too high. So let me switch the camera, show you what happened in the last few days with the paid ads, and then we'll come back here for the final words. All right, so now that we're back, let me show you the metrics log here for the last few days. As you might know, there are no more leads. So unfortunately, Meta doesn't track the leads when it comes to IGDM ads. So tough luck, but we can still see something else here. So there is some consistency with the link clicks, as you can see. So around 8 clicks. And from what I've noticed with these new ads is that there was an average of around one new person each day on average, of course. So that would mean that for every around 8 to 9 clicks, someone seems to be qualified, which is a good data point to know. And besides that, yeah, as I mentioned, there are no more leads because I think this is when on the 30. Yeah, this is where I think I stopped that. So yeah, right now it's around one message a day after 9 clicks on each day. So that's the ratio right now. And if I go into the ad account, so let me show you yesterday I spent, I believe, yeah, so I spent also on the UK, although I stopped it because I don't think it was relevant. And right now it's only spending in Canada and the US, and the cost per click, as you can see, it's around 2.77 and 2.43. So if we multiply this by 10, it's around $27, right? And for each of those, we start a conversation. So especially in the high ticket world, you definitely want to pay more if you actually have something of higher value to sell. So right now the cost per click for today is slightly higher, as you can see, but yeah, we'll have to see overall how these IGDM ads go. We definitely need more people. Right now there are only 4 who actually send a message, so we definitely need more people, and some of them actually, I think, clicked by accident. This is something that I've noticed. And also let me get you to my website here, squadrax.com, because someone actually booked a call through the website. So I'm not sure what they did. Probably they clicked on the profile and then went here somehow, and then yeah, they booked a free strategy call, because I do have their first and last name, if I'm not mistaken, email, phone number, company name, company website URL, and then I have this info, which is DDC physical only, monthly revenue, which was less than 10k, so fairly low for sure. And they put Meta paid ads advertising, if I'm not mistaken. So yep, that's why it's important to get attention. And with all of that being said, let's switch the camera back. All right, so now that we're back, ask some final words here. As you can see, it's all about being out there, right? It doesn't have to be paid ads for sure, but if you know paid ads like me, of course, why wouldn't you do that? Because organic is one way, but it doesn't have to be the only way. As I was saying earlier, paid ads kind of suck, meaning that you still need to pay money. You are not sure who you'll get, right? And it's the same with organic to some extent. You don't have predictability, like you can't 10x if you want to with organic. You might post more, but that doesn't really guarantee more. Sometimes the algorithm actually makes your content less relevant if you post way too much, right? That's why there are some guidelines such as post once a day, or once a day on Instagram, 3 times a day on Twitter, right? Every platform has a different algorithm. But with all of that being said, it's all about being out there. So it's a game, right? We're all playing a game here, and it's just about making progress. We don't have to strike it big in one day or anything like that. Because, for example, I think there's actually a saying that if you get $1 million, actually find out how to be a millionaire after that as soon as possible. And what does that mean? It means that if you get $1 million, but you're not a millionaire, meaning that you didn't know how to make that, you just got lucky, then you're probably wasted. Just like with lottery winners, they win, but they don't have the habits. They don't know how to invest that money. So they didn't go through stages, right? So for example, myself, I don't have $1 million right now, but pretty much I know that I'll have it in a few years. It depends on multiple factors, but it is just a matter of time. As long as I'm alive, it's almost impossible. Like I can show you the forecast. It's almost impossible not to get there. So the thing is that if you have a plan, of course, you'll eventually get to where you want. You just don't know exactly when some key points will happen. But as long as you do the right things, usually life does become easier. So with all of that being said, that's pretty much it for today. I actually have a call here in around 20 minutes, and I need to actually have a protein shake in the meantime, and some caffeine. That's how the world works, mostly on caffeine. And yep, that's pretty much it. So not to make this too long, see you tomorrow. Appreciate being around. Leave a like, comment, you know how it works. And until next time, peace out.